starts now with breaking news.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We are getting to some breaking news right now. Fire crews are at the Port of Catoosa fighting a tank fire. This news just coming into our newsroom. We do want to get to senior reporter Justin Ayer. He has been on the way there. Justin, tell us what you're seeing. Where are you? What's going on out there?
Hey, Justin. Yeah, very hectic scene out here. I'm on Highway 167, essentially right in front of the Port of Catoosa sign here, as if you were to get in. That has since been blocked, so I cannot drive into the Port of Catoosa right now. That is blocked. It has been, as I said, very hectic to get here. A lot of traffic backup and whatnot. I'm actually at the Phillips 66 gas station. That is actually the closest I can get to the scene right now. I'm still about 5 minutes from the actual scene that was reported at a building at 620 North Channel Road. I've heard this tanker that is on fire right now is owned by Holly Energy. That's according to the Rogers County Emergency Management crews. Now, I am hearing Tulsa Fire is on scene. Rogers County Emergency Management is here. I just saw the sheriff's office. Hazmat teams from Tulsa Fire, they are here as well. Now, as for injuries and whatnot, I cannot tell you. I have not had any of that confirmed at this point. But what I can really tell you from what I can see right now is just a heavy traffic backup. We are working to get more information, Justin, and as soon as we get it, I'll be sure to let you all know.
Yeah, I know they can certainly have that backup there when you're talking about getting people out of the port. Justin, can you see the smoke coming out of the top there? Is that visible? I know you're several minutes away because of all that traffic, but can you see that?
Yeah, Justin, I have my GPS. It says about 6 minutes from the actual scene, so I do not see any smoke whatsoever. Don't smell any smoke. So nothing's really visible from where I am. These crews are really keeping it tight here to make sure that they respond as greatly as they can and not to have too much interference.
Yeah, having people safe, especially when you're talking about the Port of Catoosa and any chemicals that might be involved. Justin, I appreciate it. I know you just got there and you're going to be working to get some more information for us. We are, by the way, looking at these photos, as Justin had mentioned, from the Rogers County Emergency Management there. You can see just in the middle there, this is the fire that we're talking about, and that smoke is really, I guess, what a lot of people would be concerned about, is having that come up when you're talking about any kind of chemicals. Again, I cannot say exactly what is in there, or exactly what we'll be dealing with, or any of the impacts that would be to anybody, but we are, of course, working to get that information. Andy Little with the Tulsa Fire Department, we do know, is on scene. We're going to be working to get more information from him on their response, how they're involved, how this coordination is going. A lot of questions that are going to need to be answered here. We do have some photos, actually, that I'm going to see if our producers and our editors can get in from the Tulsa Fire Department, showing more of a inside ground level view. We'll get that to you if we can here in just a little bit, showing the fight that they're dealing with right now. What you can't see in these photos is they have a truck there spraying water in the direction of that. Of course, they have to keep their distance as well to make sure that these firefighters are safe, seemingly using what looks like the wind to their advantage, at least in these photos, and we'll get them to you if we can here in a couple minutes. But when we're talking about the wind, that's always the big concern, right? We've heard a lot coming out of Ohio, and I don't want to say this is anything even close to that. But of course, when we're talking about a windy day or anything fire-related in that smoke, it makes people think of the concerns that come with that. So meteorologist Michael Sager, he is monitoring those winds. Michael, and before we do get to you, I do want to say this is something we're watching. We're not saying this is going to be impacting a large amount of people, but with these winds, give us an idea of kind of what's happening outside.
Yeah, and like you said, Justin, just something we're going to monitor as we go throughout the day. Don't know how long this could be an issue at the Port of Catoosa. Hopefully it's wrapped up pretty soon, but I just going to want to look at the wind forecast as we go throughout the day. Right now, we've got mostly northeast winds across the area at about 10 to 20 miles per hour or so. So anything coming here out of the Port of Catoosa is going to be carried off to the south and to the west. So again, just monitoring the wind situation as we go throughout the day. Right now, anything from there will be carried off south and west. Now, as we go into the afternoon, we're going to notice these winds actually changing a bit more direction, becoming more easterly. And then as we go into the evening hours, that wind direction is actually going to become more southeasterly. And then later this evening and into tonight, eventually as the cold front sweeps on through, that'll bring in some northwesterly winds as we head into overnight tonight and into tomorrow. So again, just something to monitor as we go over the next 24 hours. Don't know how long this will continue to be burning at the Port of Catoosa, but something that we're going to watch for sure as far as the wind direction and the possible impacts with that could be throughout the day today and into tonight.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. Yeah, of course, something you got to keep your eye on. Again, depending on how they're fighting this, what the chemical might be involved, how situations might change when it comes to, as Michael was mentioning, wind conditions. Whatever happens out there, we do have crews on the way. Justin Ayer is on scene there. He's working to get you more information, asking those questions. When you're talking about breaking news like this, there are a lot of questions that need to be answered, and we'll be working to get that to you and keep you updated right here on air and, of course, KGRH.com as well.